Welcome to Value Education, Perspectives on Process. This is a series of conversations with Rhinec's administrators, teachers, and students about meaningful topics in education. In the past 2 years, we've really seen a generation of young leaders rise up and tackle some of the most complex problems in our society. Whether it's climate or parkland, they have risen to the occasion. And now with school closed and COVID-19, they once again have reached out into their communities to help. And now I'd like to introduce the students. And I'm going to start with our co-host, Dylan Spencer, who's in grade 11 and who will begin the conversation. Dylan, what have you been doing during this time to really support your community?
Yeah, so thank you, Dr. Fright. I'm super excited for today's episode. I've been focusing on continuing to lead ASAP Scraps, which is a not-for-profit corporation funded by myself and 3 Rhinex seniors that encourages composting by providing a weekly curbside pickup service. Additionally, I've been working with you as a co-host of Value Education here on LMC-TV. And Value Education offers community insights into work done by my peers as well as Rhinex faculty and administrators. During the present situation, ASAP Scraps has adjusted a bit to emphasize the importance of social distancing while helping community members to remember to continue sustainability efforts. When we pick up compost, we're taking serious precautions not to expose ourselves to the coronavirus. Initially, I thought that all community efforts of this sort would be shut down following the quarantine, though as you'll see today, there's an incredible amount of work kids can still do. So now, I'm proud to share some of the work that's being done by other Rhinex High School students who have chosen to be proactive community leaders during this challenging time. So Julia, let's start with you. Can you tell us a bit about what you've been doing?
Yeah, so my name's Julia. I'm a junior at Rhinex, and I've been involved with multiple organizations through my synagogue that are involved with gathering materials that are really in short supply right now. So for example, we've gathered soap and other cleaning supplies and brought that to the Westchester Community Center in New Rochelle, as well as collecting gloves and masks and bringing that to New York City for Weill Cornell Medical Center. So we're really trying to make sure that these resources that are precious right now are going to the people that need them the most and are going to get the most use out of them.
Okay, super cool. And Ben, what about yourself?
Hi, I'm Ben Golden. I'm a senior from Rhinex High School, and as of right now, I'm working on a documentary titled The Year of the Nurse. I'm working collaboratively with my friend Harry Dirks from Mamaroneck High School, and LMC-TV. And pretty much what this documentary is we're including like video testimonials and narratives from family members about pretty much talking about nurses and how much they're risking during the coronavirus, trying to get their take on things. And we're just hoping to reach like a wide audience, and hopefully this video will resonate with some people.
What kinds of responses have you been getting? Are people willing to help you guys out?
Yeah, we're just reaching out through social media. We're trying to get as much information as possible, and hopefully get a different perspective. Just trying to get a different perspective from any kind of family who's going through something at the moment.
Okay. And Harry, how have you been helping the community?
Yeah, so I'm Harry Sisson. I'm a junior from Rhinex. I am a co-founder and co-host of Rhinex Inspires, which is an event we're holding in the future, which takes student submissions of talents or things they've been doing in quarantine and mixing them together and putting on a show. My role in this was finding an organization to raise funds for. We settled on City Meals on Wheels. I came to this conclusion because I was thinking, like, who is most vulnerable through all of this? And I came to the conclusion that it had to be the elder. In New York City, it is a hotspot for virus infections, and it's difficult for old people to get out and be able to get meals for themselves. So this organization really helps with that.
Okay. Maddie, I know that you've also been super involved with Rhinex Inspires. Can you speak a bit about that?
Yeah, I'm Maddie Murray. I'm a junior at Rhinex High School, and I'm also a co-host for Rhinex Inspires. Me and a group of other students, most of which I think are here actually, Julia, Harry, Ethan, Gabe, and Alona. The goal behind this project was to create hope, help, and heal our community. And the best way we thought how was to show people all the opportunities that they could take advantage of during this time. So what we did was we asked a bunch of talented students that we knew to create videos and tutorials of them doing some of their favorite skills and activities. And our plan is to edit those videos, post them on the internet, and viewers have the opportunity to donate to a foundation called Meals on Wheels.
Okay, and so what kinds of tutorials are you guys filming?
We have a lot of instruments, a couple of singers. I think some of them are actually performing a song written by Julia Hodes. We have cooking, and we also have how-tos like how to make hand sanitizer and how to make face masks.
And I think
Okay.
Alona's doing bracelets.
Yeah, I'm doing friendship bracelets.
That's great.
Okay, well, if we're on Alona, how have you been participating in the community, Alona?
Hi, I'm Alona. I'm also a junior at Rhinebeck High School. I'm actually doing two things, one project, which is TEDx, and another, which is Rhinebeck Inspires. Before school closed, Rhinebeck had planned to present a live show, which is TEDx, focused on climate change on March 20th. The speakers had spent months preparing their TED Talks, coached by Tom Fox of My Eureka Solutions, and were ready to perform. I was a media producer and talent coordinator, and was first in charge of some large projects like ticket registrations and admissions. I was trained by Leslie Finley, a Rhinebeck parent and a professional event producer. Unfortunately, the pandemic first postponed the show and then canceled it. So putting on this event was a lot of work, and so I therefore jumped in to assist with the transition from live conference to capture the wonderful work of speakers and submit it online according to TED's strict guidelines. We're really hoping people will tune into these amazing and interesting talks. This transition took time, and we look forward to these talks being available to a big audience sometime in June.
Okay, super cool stuff. And Noah, what about you? What have you been doing? I believe you're muted. Yeah, there you go.
I'm Noah Thur. I'm a junior at Rhinebeck High School. And social isolation is a problem that faces all of us as a result of quarantine. As Harry touched on earlier, seniors are one of the groups most impacted by social isolation. So in an effort to help seniors who are struggling to get aid that they normally receive, and also isolated and lonely due to how they're removed from their normal communities, I've been reaching out to talk to them and help them in any way they need, connect with them, and provide them just a face to talk to, someone to connect with.
How have you been reaching out to them?
I've been working with my temple to find seniors who need a face to talk to, and I make calls daily just to check in on them, see how they are.
Okay, and what kinds of responses are you getting?
Some mixed responses. Some people are very engaging. They want to talk. They want to connect with me. Others aren't exactly as willing to speak, but most of it's good. It's definitely helpful. I learn just as much as I provide to them from their insights.
Ethan, what have you been doing recently?
So as mentioned previously, I'm also working on the Rhinebeck Inspires project, more towards the technical side. Our goal for the event is to eventually have a live event to be viewed by the entire school community on YouTube. And I help with the logistics and the planning of the actual showing. I also worked with the principals of both the middle school and the high school to create a video collage of teacher greetings so students would still be able to connect with their teachers amid our current crisis.
Okay, now let's hear from Kayla. Kayla, what have you been up to?
Hi, yeah, my name is Kayla Gorin, and I'm a junior at Rhinebeck High School. Throughout this period of social distancing, I've been working with a group of high school volunteers to read books to children. This group was spearheaded by high school principal Dr. Wilson, and she organized a meeting for the group of volunteers, so by no means am I the only one doing this project, but we each pick a book, either a paper copy or a virtual copy, and send our recordings out to the elementary school families and teachers. I love babysitting, and since during this time of social distancing, I can't do that anymore. So this is a way for me to connect with the kids and help out the parents who may working as well as looking after their kids.
Is this something reoccurring, or are you continuing to read to the younger kids?
Yeah, I've made a few videos. I read books that were important to me during my childhood, so I can make as many as I want, and I've made a few already.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, Gabe, how are you today? What projects have you been working on?
Thank you, Dylan. I'm Gabe Miller. I'm a junior at Rhinebeck High School, and I've been working on quite a few different projects, as well as being a speaker and presenter for both TEDx and Rhinebeck Inspires. I'm working on the back-end logistical sides as well. I'm also working on students teaching students, a Rhinebeck High School, Middle School joint project, where a high school student is partnered with a middle school student to tutor them virtually. And I'm also working with you, Dylan, and Dr. Fight, and a few other of our classmates on Action Research for Community Change, or Tools for Change-based program, where we are studying the impacts of stress and specifically parents' perceptions of student stress during this pandemic. Originally, we were planning to just do our study based on stress during our normal lives, and we were thankful enough to get our survey issued earlier. But now, when we have this pandemic, we thought it would be a very interesting thing to issue another survey and go back and reevaluate how people are thinking and have a current view of what's going on and a retrospective view of their stress as well.
Okay.
So Dylan, you know, these are amazing projects. Obviously, everybody's gone off on their own direction. Just in general, why was it important for you, for example, to continue ASAP Scraps? What was important in that experience?
Well, I think the need to display to one's community that this quarantine sort of isn't shutting everything down. The fact that the projects that existed before can continue to operate despite some restrictions. I think the overarching idea that quarantine sort of can't hinder these widespread community projects is super important, and getting that idea out by continuing to work on my projects has been super rewarding and I think super important. Okay, but I'd like to jump back to Julia. I'm curious specifically as to why you chose your synagogue as a means to aiding the community.
My synagogue is always involved with a lot of community service, now of course more than ever. So they have a lot of contacts with different charities and organizations. So I felt that by going through them, I would be able to help the largest amount of people in the fastest way possible.
Okay. And Ben, a documentary is a very different mode of expressing yourself and the present situation as compared to some of the other community leaders we've talked to. Why did you choose a documentary as a way to pursue this project and help out the community?
Well, for a long time now, I've had an interest in filmmaking and screenwriting, and I felt like what better opportunity to gain more experience and learn how to make documentaries than make one now since we're in quarantine. So pretty much what we're looking to do is we want to get some sort of visual representation and put it like videos, pictures, whatever we can obtain through sending pictures and videos to LMC-TV.org. We want to make this documentary hopefully to shed light on what nurses are doing, and hopefully we can explain in the style of a documentary what's going on during the coronavirus and how much effort work nurses are putting in.
Okay. And Harry, directly alleviating pain in a situation that's so painful to so many is something I think we could all take a thing or two from. But I'm curious as to why you specifically took such a direct approach.
I think before this all happened, we knew it was going to be bad. And we knew that a lot of people were going to hurt. And we realized who was most vulnerable, and that became extremely apparent to me, and it was extremely upsetting. And so Dr. Fight, myself, Maddie, and Ethan all collaborated to create this Rhinebeck Inspires event. And it was just really important to us that we helped people. And my main goal out of it was achieving fundraising, getting this monetary help to these people. And it's just going to be a great thing. And I think that a lot of people should tune in and certainly help out in any way they can.
I also know you've worked in politics before, and I know that's one of your heavy interests. Have you been able to sort of make a cross section between politics and this process?
Yeah, so I'm on a Senator Shelley Mayer's Youth Council. It is a group that comes together pretty regularly and talks about legislative work for New York. We have a group chat where we've been in contact with each other, trying to help in different ways that we can through different organizations. We've certainly been in contact. I'm also working with Councilwoman Taggart in Rye. She's also head of the Rye Human Rights Commission, and we've been in contact as well to see what we can do about it.
Okay, super cool. Maddie, I know that you were one of the first people to realize that there was this large group of people learning new things at home. Why have you valued the sharing of those new pursuits so much?
Yeah, well, I felt it was really important because I think during this pandemic, there's a lot of uncertainty. And with that uncertainty comes a lot of negative thoughts and feelings. And I think that it's important to stay positive. And the best way to do that is to keep ourselves open to learning new things and occupied.
Okay. And then Noah, I'm curious just why you were so drawn to pursuing this project specifically.
Well, through connecting with my own grandparents, I realized that being a senior at this time can be very difficult because your normal social interaction is completely drawn from you, as well as the aid that many seniors receive from volunteer work and people who want to help them. But at this time, those people can't face-to-face interact with seniors due to quarantine. We need to find some other means to help this large group of people that's struggling at this time. And as I noted the problem, it became apparent to me that I needed to take some sort of action in order to help. So through working with my temple, I realized that there was definitely an opportunity, and that's why I took this approach.
Okay, and Ethan, I know you're very involved with film and the whole production process. How have you been able to leverage those skills to bring together our school community while we were so physically separated?
Well, with film and videos, you get to see faces, and I personally believe that communication is a very important factor in any community, and our school system is exactly that, an internal community that relies on communication. So even in our times of social distancing, it is still a very important thing for people to hear and see other people, which is why I quickly jumped on to both the Rhineck Inspires team and the Teacher Greetings project.
Okay, and Alona, I know you've worked on some of those similar projects, but I'm curious as to what drives you to really work on all these different projects, and why is it so important that these projects be pursued?
By becoming involved in several work groups, I was able to provide solutions to bring people together even when we're apart. In the Rhineck Inspires project, I'm in charge of collecting the students' videos, editing, and producing the whole show. The show is hosted by 2 members of this team, Maddie and Harry, who contribute greatly to the flow of the show and make it fun to watch. Not only is this project helping ones in need and raising money, but it also spreads a positive attitude through hard times. Many people in this community are going through and need this.
Okay, and Kayla, you know, there's lots of ways that Rhineck students have participated in the community during these pressing times, as we've seen even in this short discussion. Why have you chosen your specific path, specifically within the, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm working closely with Dr. Wilson and other volunteers on a project that helps to bring our community together through books and reading. Reading has been an important part of my life, and now especially we need to do things differently because all we have is our homes. And these videos that we send out are meant to give these younger students something they can do at home. And since school is such a big part of our lives, and now we can't be on campus, we are doing all that we can to keep our Rhineck community together, whether that may be through books or other projects that students are involved in.
Okay, and lastly, Gabe, you know, as you've mentioned, you've been at the forefront of many leadership positions in a multitude of projects. What have you learned about community and community building through being such a proactive community leader?
I've learned just how important outreach is and continuous communication. I mean, it's so easy at this time to just sit back and not want to do something. Sometimes I feel like that, but I tell myself I have to get up and I have to work, and I email people encouraging like, hey, let's get this done. Hey, let's do this. And it works. If you actually take the initiative and reach out, people will respond and you can actually get amazing things done.
Okay. Yeah, I know it means a lot to me to continue to be able to serve my community, even in the face of this crisis. And I'm super proud to be a part of this strong group of leaders who are sort of at the vanguard of leading the community in pressing times. So I thank you guys very much for being here.
And I want to thank you for being here as well. It's so inspiring to hear what you're doing. And I know that our audience is going to love to hear that there's hope and there's a way to heal ourselves through helping others. And I hope that this inspires people to do what they can in their own lives. During this school closure, we're going to continue value education. I want to thank my co-host Dylan for doing such a great job, and all of you. And please log on to our show, go to LMC and look up the shows and videos. We are Value Education, and we are also on YouTube. So, and thank you, Dina Schumacher, our producer, for giving us this opportunity. We'll see you again soon.